What is up, gamers? Staxwell's back at it again today. I know y'all weren't expecting the back-to-back, but that video yesterday wasn't doing it for me. I didn't feel like I gave it my all. I didn't feel like I talked about everything I could have. I didn't feel like I researched enough. Um, so we're back. We're back with a part two. This is my apology to you guys. I should have done better last time. So to make up for it, we're hitting another market watch today. There's still a lot of crazy stuff going on, lot to talk about, lot to get into. We have no Audible, no Squarespace ads today. We're just jumping straight into the market. So let's just start off with this Icelander cold foil we talked about last week. You mad lads bought it out. It was $7 when we talked about it last week. Now it's 24, and I'm starting to think maybe I need to take my own advice. And when I say that cards are good and that we should pick them up and they're a penny stock, I don't tell you guys things I don't believe in. So I normally buy like one copy of everything I say, right? I'm like, oh, $7, I'll get one. I'm starting to think maybe I should be getting a couple extra for myself to cash in on these gains. It's all jokes. It's all jokes. All seriousness though, I still think this is a good pickup. Even $23 seems kind of a little bit cheap to me for one of the tier 1 Blitz Heroes cold foil. This was an Armory promo, but from a while ago, like during Everfest days. So the game has exploded a lot since then. Way more players playing now than there was back then. A lot of people missed out on the chance to get this, and I still think it's kind of cheap for one of the best Blitz Heroes. I'll just leave it there. Speaking of cards, a lot of players missed out on. The adult Levia was completely bought out as well. This is for the cold foil. They got bought out the other day they were 100 each. Now they're 320. I know these have all but disappeared from eBay as well. So this is the adult cold foil Levia. It is at $320. Just bringing your guys' attention to that. Dawnblade Cold Foil, another one of those super old Armory promos. I say this about all the Armory promos. I think they're all like great investments when they drop, because they're all going to wind up doing this one day. They're all just going to keep wind up going up. For the listeners, the Dawnblade Cold Foil is at $60. And just kind of as a general overarching theme here to this market watch is the Flesh and Blood market is like insanely strong. Like think about it. Like we're in an off season. We're in a stale meta, debatably, right? Like everything's like kind of like stale and petered out a little bit, and we're kind of all sitting around waiting for the next big event. We're kind of sitting around waiting for outsiders, not a whole lot going on. And the market stays so strong. The market just keeps pushing. These cards keep getting bought out. Where if you look at Magic, if you look at the Yu-Gi-Oh market, if you look at these other card games, their markets just aren't this strong. Their market's dropping, whereas ours is going up. So that's like such a strong sign for the future. Makes me so much more confident in the YouTube channel and the game in general. Makes me so much more confident in what I do. And all these cards today I'm talking about are kind of like a sign of that. So it's just good news all around in this market watch. The Death Dealer cold foil, another one of those super old promos, is at $80 for the cold foil. This is heavy speculation because of the new Ranger support coming in Outsiders. I think this price tag is a little bit steep. It kind of seems like they're going to lean into aim counters in this new set. So if you only could pick one, I would prefer you to bling out and buy the Sandscour Great Bow over the Death Dealer. But I don't think the Death Dealer is a bad investment, if that makes sense. Like if you had the money to get both, sure. But if you could only pick one, I would lean toward the Sandscour Great Bow. I think that's going to more likely be the bow of choice moving forward. But yeah, this card's just gone so crazy. Like if we look back a couple months ago, it was like 25, 30, 50, 50. Like it was so much cheaper. Hit 80 real fast. Surgical Extraction, everyone's favorite. We know this card's like ridiculously expensive. There's not a whole lot to say on it. I still think that they're going to reprint this card in the next set as a bit of an apology. I don't think it's going to come foil in the next set. If you're going to buy it, I recommend buying it foil. The foil is currently $92 for the cheapest, but it quickly jumps up to $100, then $125. But if we look at the non-foil here, it is $60. So it is kind of a significant price hike to get to that foil, but it kind of is insurance for your investment, If you buy it for the $60 price tag and they reprint it next set, it's going to feel really, really bad. Whereas if you get the rainbow and they reprint in the next set, it's not going to feel as bad. So if I was picking this card up, I would pick up the rainbow instead of the non-foil. Deadeye has also been bought out. This was the new Ranger Majestic from Dynasty. I don't know how many of you guys have this on your radar. It is now a $10 Majestic, whereas if we look at the last sold, it was around the $4 mark for a long time, and now it's hitting 10. If you guys watched my last video, I kind of talk about my take on the Ranger Majestics. I think they are a bit overvalued at the moment. I think Ranger's probably going to be a deck, but it's not going to be like a tier 0 deck or anything, and I don't think a lot of these Majestic price points are warranted. So me personally, I'm not going to be picking any of them up. I'll wait for Ranger to come out, wait for the hype to cool off a little bit, and then I'll pick up a lot of these Majestics. Imperial Warhorn is that new spicy tech. I don't know how many of you guys have seen this. I'm sure a lot of you are aware. But like Fatigue Oldoms are using this to beat Icelander. Destroys an item from both heroes' side of the field, so item, aura, affliction, whatever. So you could destroy Frost Hex, and then they'll have to destroy like an E-Pot or something. Just a ton of value off this card, and it kind of breaks Icelander's late game apart a little bit, particularly if you're remembrancing this back again and again. That's also like the plan Fatigue Oldham has into Dash, like you just keep remembrancing this back again and again and try and break all their items one by one. The Cold Foil is at $25. When it first dropped, it was around the $10 price tag. So this card's got some movement. I could see this, since it's a generic, I could see this card being good for like, it's one of those cards that people are going to forget about, and then like 2 or 3 years down the line, there's going to be another item-based deck similar to Icelander, and the card's going to spike up again just because like people forgot it even existed. So I think everyone should have one of these. It's just like a very beautiful card for one, and for two, there's like a lot of utility, and there's a lot of like future use to it, I think. The Spiderbite Cold Foil hit a huge price spike as well. Used to be like $10-ish, 12. Now it's at 17. I think a lot of people are buying this to match the Armory promo Spiderbite. Like they'll win one of these, and then they'll go and buy the other hand to like kind of match it. The Armory promo one is worth 40. I think both these cards are worth it. I think they're probably still going to have these Spiderbites as like the premier weapons for at least Arachni. I could see Urzuri or whatever being like a different play style and having her own different kind of weapon. But I personally, I think Spider's Bite is like a beautifully flavorful card, and I think that they want to keep it around because of that. As weird as that sounds, that's just kind of like my gut instinct. So I think the playset's undervalued right now, and you know, if we look at the old promos, Death Dealer, Dawnblade, things we talked about earlier, you know, I could just see these cards getting crazy expensive one day. Mask of Perdition has cooled off a little bit, weirdly enough. Every other assassin card is going up, and Mask of Perdition is the only one that has cooled off slightly. It's at 180. It used to be like 200, 250. It would bounce around there, 220, 200 again. And now it's at 180, and I think this is the cheapest I've seen it in quite a while. There's just a couple on the market, so if you guys were thinking about buying it, now might be the time. This is very likely to be the premier assassin headpiece moving forward. Black Tech Whisperer's Cold Foil is going up, definitely upticking a little bit here. People are gearing up and getting ready for the assassin stuff. Like I said, every other assassin card is just going up, and then Mask of Perdition was the only one that went down, a little bit weird. But following that theme, Black Tech Whisperer is going up. I still think that this is this is probably a little bit cheap, honestly. I don't know why. I love this card. It's so beautiful and it's so good. Like Snapdragon Scalers every like other turn or something potentially. It just seems like the long-term value of this card is just kind of broken. We've talked about this again and again and again on the channel. Enlightened Strike Rainbow Foil. I feel like I talk about this card at least every other week or something like that. When I first got in the game when I first started doing YouTube a couple months ago, in the YouTube game, I guess, this card was $40. It's at $185 for the cheapest one. That's $185, and that's from a non-verified seller that has never sold anything before. So I don't know if I'd trust that. If you don't trust that, then the cheapest one is $240 for an unlimited Rainbow Foil Enlightened Strike. Kind of crazy. We've talked about this again and again. Those OG staples are something we want to be picking up. I'm not going to recommend one way or another to pick this card up just because like it's gone up so much in the last couple months. I think you might want to wait a little bit on this. But yeah, we talked about this so many times on the channel. Congrats to everyone who bought, I guess. Fendal Spring Tunic, if you're going to buy it, I highly recommend to buy the Rainbow Foil. Do not buy the Crucible of War non-foil version. This one's $275 right now. It keeps going up. The only thing I really want to say about this is it's just kind of like this is like the barrier to entry, right? Like you want to play Flesh and Blood, well, you need a Tunic. And the fact that this card keeps going up and up and up shows that more people are playing than are quitting, right? Like just supply demand, it's a strong market, and it just Fendal Spring Tunic, I think, is a direct correlation to the growth and the strength of the game, right? And the popularity of the game. The price of Tunic directly reflects that, I think. So yeah, this is just a sign of how strong of a market we're in. Carrion Husk, I talked about this card at the beginning of the year as one of the top 5 cards I would pick up for the 2023 Flesh and Blood season. They confirmed that they're going to make another Shadow Rune Blade, and this is like one of the most bonkers pieces of equipment ever, like blocks for 6. It's effectively 2 cards worth of value. When I talked about it at the beginning of the year, like a month and a half ago, it was like $70. Yeah, look, 70, 71, 70, 73. And now it is 100 for the rainbow foil. And if we look at the cold foil, it is 170 for 2 of them, and then it quickly jumps to 215 and 300. So if you haven't bought it, I still think it's a good pickup. I highly recommend you go back and check out that video for all the reasons why. But yeah, I still think that this is too cheap, and I still think it's a good pickup. Tiger Stripe Shuko is another one. I think this one's kind of flying under the radar a little bit. I think more people are hyped for Assassin and for Ranger, and they're kind of like forgetting that Katsu and Benji are coming in here. And Katsu and Benji are going to be, obviously getting a bunch of new support. They're going to be a lot better. I can almost guarantee Katsu's going to be in the meta, because he kind of already is a little bit with the Crouching Tiger stuff. So I could definitely see this card going up. If you buy it, I recommend buying the cold foil, as I always do. Cold foil is not too much more. It is $73, so it has gone up a little bit for sure, but I still think it's one of the more undervalued cards from Uprising. Crouching Tiger is criminally undervalued. I think $23 right now is way too cheap for this card. I think they're going to lean into that Crouching Tiger play style in Outsiders. I think that's what they're going to try and make the identity of Katsu be, is that Crouching Tiger stuff. So if you don't have one, I at least recommend picking up one. But I'm sure you guys are going to whale this and buy it out. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, rate, subscribe, and help the algorithm help me out. Thank you, gamers. Appreciate you watching.